I mean, it wasn't really much besides the whole Nintendo PlayStation debacle.
Okay, I wasn't gonna get there yet, but since you already brought it up, let me pull it up. So, do you know enough about it to bring it up before I bring up the article?
I mean, it's an old system. Like, I think it's a system from the 90s when they weren't really in competition, but Sony and PlayStation made like this crossover console. I don't know if it was ever like
Sold.
yeah.
But I thought this shit was fake when I first saw it. It's called the Nintendo PlayStation. Like when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, this is like some cool shit somebody came up with." This shit was. You're saying this shit was real?
Yeah.
Like they really worked on this
Like
together.
that was real.
Damn, I thought it was fake. That's crazy.
Nah, that's real.
Wait, all right, I found something. It says the only known Nintendo PlayStation console in existence is changing hands. Damn, changing hands. Some nigga been holding this shit for 20 years. Bidding for the legendary prototype concluded earlier today when someone placed a $300,000 bid. God damn, with the buyer's premium, the person who won the auction would pay $360,000 to own a piece of gaming history. I feel like that's kind of cheap for what it is. Based on what you just told me, because like I said, I thought it was fake at first. But what you just told me, I feel like $360K is cheap for that.
Yeah, it's definitely only gonna go up in value.
Yeah, like
that's an investment.
I wonder why they never worked on it. Let me see how it says. As with any high-profile auction, the device was expected to attract big bids, and for a time it did. Even the Oculus founder, Palmer Luckey, took part. Damn, that nigga, get your bread up, Palmer Luckey. It's fair to say it's when someone better. Damn, I'm trying to see. I wonder why they didn't make it. Why didn't they? The prototype was originally owned by former Sony Computer Entertainment president Olaf Olafsson. Man, that's a hell of a name. Olaf Olafsson. A man named Terry Bid won the console in a bankruptcy auction for $75. It stayed overlooked in his attic until his son, Dan DeBow, realized what they had on their hands with the help of a Reddit post. Since then, the two have toured with the prototype, taking it with them to retro gaming conventions. In December, the elder DeBow told Kotaku someone offered $1.2 million. So somebody offered them $1.2 million to buy, and they sold it for $360K.
Stupid.
Auctioned it for $360K.
Bruh.
Idiots.
Definitely.
Like it's like, oh, we're not gonna sell it, and then years later, like, man, we gotta get rid of this shit, bro. Like,
You can't do nothing with it.
that shit might be cursed.
Like I would have sold it quick.
You would have sold it?
Yeah.
Why?
For 1.2 million?
That shit history.
I don't care.
What do you mean, bro? It's like that's some shit you could, like you said, bro. You could make money. You could make money just showing that shit to people. You can have like a museum, have people come in and touch it.
No, that's first of all, no one would touch it. It would definitely be in glass.
Okay, well either way, bro.
Bulletproof glass at that. Like niggas ain't touching it.
Oh, it says believed the device represents Sony's first attempt at creating its own gaming hardware. It adds a built-in CD-ROM to the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, the SNES. Had Sony and Nintendo continued their partnership, the console would have allowed the SNES to play CD games. After falling out with Nintendo, Sony went on to release the original PlayStation, and the rest, as they say, is history. Damn, that's interesting. So what I'm seeing from this is like, okay, let's timeline this, so this makes sense. So Nintendo, big dog, SNES all the time.
Yeah.
Sony comes along, probably trying to get their feet wet by I'm gonna assume try to get their feet wet by showing Nintendo what they could do with their console.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, and it's like, yo, bro, look what we made, and then Nintendo was like,
see, I don't know about. Okay, you kind of lose me. I feel like Sony came to Nintendo with
an idea.
Yeah, and then they agreed to like form some form of partnership, and then they made that, but it never went past that.
Yeah, I mean, let me see. Yeah, this article doesn't give any reason why. So, cause I mean, I can kind of feel Nintendo's like, nigga, if all you did was add a CD-ROM to our shit, like, man, we could do that shit. Like, you ain't bring nothing new and innovative. But that shows you where Sony's head was at as far as gaming systems. That's interesting because I'm not gonna say, yeah, they're definitely not behind, but Sony was the first to make a gaming system that played CDs, right? That was CD-ROM based, right? Was the PlayStation 1 the first?
I mean, it's like I want to say no.
What else? I mean, well, if not the first, maybe the first mainstream one. But then I don't want to be wrong and niggas attack us on it. Niggas call us out on it.
You are, nigga. No, not DVDs.
So PlayStation 2 was the first to use DVDs. Went up against the Sega. Oh, the Dreamcast might have been, right? Did the Dreamcast use it? Yeah.
Yeah, the Dreamcast did use.
Oh yeah, they don't count. I mean, okay.
You said they don't count.
Nah, I'll take it back. I take it back.
I love the Dreamcast.
I ain't had one. Teacher had one, so that's the only way I got to play it.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That Sonic game. That Sonic game.
So Dreamcast is the first with CDs, but it looks like Sony tried to give it to Nintendo first, or get it out of Nintendo first. They shot it down.
Oh, it looked like it wasn't the Dreamcast either.
There's some bullshit that we never heard of.
Yes. What is this?
What the fuck? That shit look cool though.
That controller is ugly. It looks uncomfortable.
It's like a Switch controller.
Those are uncomfortable.
Okay, that's fair. But no, go to that other shit. That shit like a VCR with a controller attached to it. Scroll back down. No, the one underneath it. That shit like a VCR with a controller in it.
It does. The CDI. So what is this? The Pladia.
I've heard of Pladia.
That's the first one in 1993.
So they had it in 93. This doesn't say when this did, but the SNES was like late 90s, right? Like 96.
Yeah, but they didn't play this.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to like timeline this.
Oh, okay.
So they were first. That was ahead of the curve. Sony probably saw where shit was going. Nintendo was like, nah, fam, we good with what we got. They make this shit. They part ways. I was like, the fuck? They part ways, and then Sony does this thing, Nintendo does this thing.
Yeah, basically that's what it seemed like.
That's kind of cool though. Like I didn't know that. I didn't know they ever had a history of starting out together. I would never would have guessed that. That makes the whole beef, not beef, but the rivalry. You don't think it's a rivalry?
Nah, I don't. Nintendo isn't competing with anybody.
Well, I mean, on a grander scheme, neither is Sony. Like, if you look at it from a top-down perspective, they're not fucking with Sony. But if you look at it from a video game perspective, I feel you.
What do you mean? Yeah, that's the only way we can look at it right now.
From a video game perspective?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
But yeah, Nintendo isn't competing with anybody when it comes to video games. They do whatever they want, and it's gonna sell.
I mean, all of them do what they want. None of them, like...
But Sony competes with Microsoft. Like... There
are
plenty of articles. Yeah. PlayStation 5 versus Xbox Series X. What makes them different? What makes them the same?
That's because they're tackling the same game. I think it was you talking to me about it one time. It's like, yeah, Nintendo just goes after kids, and like they all right. PlayStation goes after grown ass adults, and so does.
Not necessarily kids, but Nintendo goes after families, and like they really got in their bag with that when they released the Wii, and that became like their identity. Like because before that they had the GameCube, and they still had big games for the GameCube that they had on PlayStation and all
Madden
that.
on the GameCube, bro.
Yeah, but with the Wii, like it became for families, and anybody could play that, like any age, and that's when they really got in their bag, and that's when they set themselves apart from not competing with Sony or Microsoft anymore.
Because Sony doesn't really go for a family market, do they? Do they have any big family games? Like big family-oriented games?
Like, Sony...
Other than The Sims?
Sony aims at gamers.
Yeah.
And Nintendo aims at everybody.
Okay, that's fair. I get that. Okay, I agree with that.
And same with Microsoft. They aim at gamers.
So do you think that... Like, let's for a second just use our imaginations, right? And let's imagine that...
I don't know, man. It might get me in trouble.
It might. But let's imagine that Nintendo and Sony both agreed this was a great idea, and they kept moving forward together. How drastic of an effect do you think it would have had on gaming today?
See, that I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea. Cause
the first thing that came to mind is, and like you said, we don't know where it would have went, but the first thing that comes to mind as a current that would be the Switch with the power of a PlayStation.
See, but you would have to think about all the other gaming systems.
Yeah, and like the mistakes they made to get to the shit.
Yeah, because the Sega was in direct competition with the Super Nintendo. Like, would that even have been a thing if the next console had a CD drive?
That's true.
Like, would we have even got the Sega Dreamcast because of that? Like,
wait, Sega Dreamcast was Wait, what do you mean?
Well, Sega Dreamcast, it came out before the PlayStation. So the Dreamcast, it probably would have been. I actually don't know. I don't know where it would have went, honestly.
That's why I said like the easiest solution, the easiest thing I could think of is Nintendo Switch with the power of a PlayStation 4. That feels like the easiest way to imagine that. But like you said, like there's no like we would have probably never gotten the PlayStation 1 because I wonder whose identity would have melted into whose identity. You know what I'm saying? Like who would have absorbed who?
I feel like Nintendo would have absorbed Sony just because they had more experience in the gaming world.
But Sony was the bigger company.
Yeah, but Nintendo they already had hits. They had Mario already.
True. Facts. True. It would have been probably like a sponsored thing, like a Nintendo with, I don't know. Yeah. I don't think, there's two big company egos there. That wouldn't never, like you said, because Nintendo would have been like, nigga, we got the hits. And Sony would be like, nigga, we Sony, nigga. Like, and I'm like, you know what? We're not doing this.
And right now, Nintendo has the most as far as recognizable brand characters. Like, ain't nobody competing with them still.
Yeah, because they got Mario, they got Pokemon, they have Zelda. Who else do they have? I mean, that's three big ones right there.
That's pretty much it. That's all they really need. I mean, they have.
Did they buy Sonic from Sega? Did they buy the license in the Sonic from Sega?
I don't know, but possibly since Sonic is in
a lot of the games. Yeah,
they got Mario and Sonic at the Olympics.
Yeah, he's in Super Smash Bros.
Oh, yo, did you see that the 2020 Olympics might be canceled?
Oh, nah, then.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, because of the coronavirus?
Yeah, because, it's supposed to be set in China.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't even think about that. But they can't cancel the Olympics.
Bruh, why?
I don't know. I feel like they were sending the wrong message to the world.
No, I think it would be the best decision because China has the last time I looked at it, they had like 8,000 people with the coronavirus.
But think about how many people are there. Like, so think about how this is such an insignificant number.
I mean, that's true, but think about how many we have here, and we got states going into a state of emergency with less than 100 people affected.
Was it you that told me New York was in a state of emergency with like 60 people diagnosed?
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
So,
bro, that's why you have to watch Devilman Crybaby, bro. That's what this shit about to turn into. And you're not gonna get that reference until you watch it. It might not even make sense to you because you haven't seen it. Oh, it won't make sense to you until you see it, and it still might not make sense to you until you get all the way through it.
I mean, you gotta watch Speed Graphic.
Nah, I saw I would, but you haven't watched Devilman Crybaby yet.
See, no, you said I told you I would watch the first 3 episodes of Devilman Crybaby.
Did you?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I mean, I got the 6.
The 6th episode?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I'm 6 episodes in.
Oh, shit. It's only like 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think? What's the last thing you saw?
Bro, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
What's the last thing you saw?
This nigga went on a rampage at a track meet.
Oh, when the monster was locked in there?
Yeah.
Nah, you gotta get to the end. The end is good. Cause I told you, bro, in my opinion.
Good. Cause so far, honestly,
it's just weird.
Yeah, like it's not my cup of tea. I'm not gonna say it's not good, cause what was that? Oh yeah, it's not my cup of tea. Like, it's not for me.
But I thought you have to make it to the end. The end is you. Like the gore, the gruesomeness of the end.
It's been quite gruesome throughout the entire series.
But the end is crazy. Like the end of it is you will fuck with the end of it.
I don't know, man, because right now I'm really just watching it just because I told you I would, and I'm a man of my word.
I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate it, man. Stay that way, bro.
Nah, I'm gonna change one day. Become a slimy nigga.
No, don't do that, bro. No. So yeah, bro. 360K sold, piece of history, the Nintendo PlayStation, only one of its kind. Somebody might hit it for a lick, but they should have sold it for 1.2 million.
They definitely. Oh, you said you would have kept it though.
Yeah, I would have kept it.
Nah, I would have sold it.
I would have been charging niggas $5 to come look at it.
$5?
Yeah, bro.
Nah.
You got, bro. Think about it. $5. Let's say you getting like 100 niggas a month. That's $500 a month for 20 years.
But think about what kind of.
What's the math on that, bro?
Think about what kind of business you can start with 1.2 million. Think about how life changing that would be. I wouldn't care about that.
Dang, you're right. It's only 120K. But when inflation, that's probably like 150K. Yeah, you're right. I would take the 1.2.
Like that's life changing money. Like yeah, I would have a piece of history. But I can't take it with me when I'm gone.
I mean, you can pass it on to your family.
Yeah, or I could pass generational wealth on to my family.
But if you do the right thing with the concept, that's like a family heirloom, bro. Imagine being the only family in the world with that piece of history.
No.
All right, man. Whatever, bro.
No. If I had like a great granddad, who passed it down, I'm selling it. Like, I'm the generation that's selling it, and no, this not about to be an heirloom. Like nigga, what? No, we making money off of this.
But it could be attached to your family name,
I'm pretty
bro.
sure that's the reason why he kept it, so a nigga could make money off of it.
No, bro. Remember it said no, because it said the dad had it, and the eldest son was when they saw the shit was like, nigga, we sitting
No,
on.
I mean like if it was passed down, I'm pretty sure he kept it passing down. So when it got to a point where oh yeah, this is worth something.
Yeah, but if it's worth 1.2 today, 360K, who's to say it'll be worth in 20 years?
Yeah, but so I gotta kind of struggle keeping this heirloom when I can sell it for 1 point some mil is what you saying. That's what it sounds like you saying. Just so I can pass it down to my kids.
Yeah, so your kids can live a good life.
But why can't I live a good life and they live a good life with this 1.2 million that I'm gonna get?
Cool if you fuck it up.
I guess it wasn't meant for them to live a good life then. But I'm not gonna not live a good life.
Bro, you selfish, bro.
It's not selfish.
It is selfish.
Because I would get it for them.
You never heard.
But if I fumbled the bag, that's a different story. Like, because I would get it for completely unselfish reasons.